back to business. So this is Emily, and Emily is a mom of 2 girls. The kid, Naomi, is how old?
She's 9.
And when's her birthday?
September.
Okay, Addie.
It's going by so fast.
I know, Addie will be 9 next month. And then Lila. How old?
She turns 7 next week. My baby. My blue-eyed babes.
Oh, they're so sweet.
They are.
And you've been married to your husband for how long?
It was 10 years last June.
Okay, 10 years.
Yeah, it was the big 1-0. It was.
Yeah.
It's good now, but it hasn't always been so good.
Good Lord,
as
you
we
know,
all know.
I feel like marriage.
That's all you gotta say. Marriage.
Okay, well, there's that. All right, so let's go to how I met you. So I want to know when you met, like what, you know how like when you met me.
I haven't even thought about that.
I know, it's a surprise question.
And I just have to give you a little disclaimer. I have the worst brain memory. Like I just feel like sometimes.
Okay, your first memory of me. Do you have one?
I don't even know if I do. You know, actually I do. I remember, so I park in the pickup line for school and I get there
this was before pickup.
really early.
I met you at church.
What?
When you were doing mops.
Stop. That's when I met you?
Well, I remember.
But we weren't like chit-chatty. Like,
No,
it was just
but
like,
like, that's
hi
when I,
Jen,
like, met
Emily,
you.
nice to meet you.
Yeah. Okay, go
Oh
ahead.
my gosh, I don't remember that.
Go pick
See?
up. You go pick up line.
I used to always watch you. You'd walk in, and
Oh,
there was
dear.
this beautiful blonde, and you know, you'd walk in and get your kids, and you walk out, and I watch people. That's like I'm really curious about people.
I
and
watch
their-
people.
and
Have you
their
read A Woman in the Window?
No.
She watches people.
Ooh, I might like that one.
Oh, okay.
But I do, and then finally, you know, I would get out from time to time, and you know, chit chat, and not be so introverted and shy or scared. I don't know what it was. And then we talked.
Okay.
And instantly it was like, oh my gosh, hey, I get her, she gets me.
We could be friends.
Yeah, there's like this.
But wait,
there's
I want
like
to
a
know
no
your. I want to
barrier
know your
zone.
pickup. I want to know your pickup story. Like you're in the pickup line. No, you just said that.
Of the carpool lane.
Yes.
Of the school.
Of the school, like you were in
Maybe
the
I'm
pickup.
sitting there picking up. Hey.
You know
Front row.
all the pickup lines that you give. Okay. No. In the pickup line at school, you get there early.
I do.
Because
Really.
Because why?
Well, my daughter Naomi, my oldest, she's 9. She has just a lot of like, oh my gosh, Mom, are you going to be there? Mom, are you going to drop me off at the right time? Mom, am I going to see you when I walk out? And she was in 1st grade. Yeah. And so I wanted to make sure that, you know, you do your mom duties, you know, and so.
So you're always the first in the line.
Pretty much.
Okay.
It still happens too, but now I'm just up top.
I see you up there.
But you know, it gives me time for me. Like I read a book, I do crossword puzzles, I listen to Dr. Laura.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't need to go into that.
Wait, Dr. Laura, she needs a younger person to like balance her.
I have a good idea.
Okay.
How about you?
I would love it. I don't think there's a position.
You should call in.
Okay. Oh.
You should call in.
Okay. Wait,
we might have to do that on
I'm
one
kind
of
of scared of her. I'm kind of
I
scared
am
of
too.
Dr. Laura.
I'm not kind of. I am.
Yeah, she makes you feel about this fucking big.
I know.
Okay.
But she did say she only has a few seconds, so she needs to change someone's life in those seconds.
And
now I understand
you
it.
have to be an asshole if you want to change someone's life in 10 seconds.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be my excuse when I'm an asshole. Like, I'm just trying to change your life in 7 seconds.
Quote Dr. Laura.
Hashtag. Wait, hold on. So you would see me in the pickup line?
Yeah. And I didn't really know you or Addie, or I didn't know you were involved with, you know, Girl Scouts and stuff like that. And
I didn't know I was involved in that either.
yeah.
And it just happened. This is what happens.
Hasn't happened to me yet.
Come on in. You're like, dang it. By the way, do you want Girl Scout cookies?
Nope, I already ate $5.
Dang it, because I have like
Sorry.
100 boxes in my garage. Everybody that I
husband might
see,
like a few.
you want some Girl Scout
they're
cookies?
so good.
Because it's not Addison selling it, it's me. Because guess who has to pay the thing if they're not sold? Me.
Really? And guess who drives them around and drops them off?
Me.
TEDx.
It's really mom scouts, not Girl Scouts.
Hence why I'm not in Girl Scouts.
Okay,
Can't do it.
we digress.
Wait, I want to hear when you met me.
Okay, so you're just saying like you don't have like a memory, like you're just saying. I mean, I remember
I
I would
don't.
come sit in your.
Honest.
I would no. I'm saying like in the pickup line, I would just come sit in your car with you.
I know. And then we connected, and then we drove to the aquarium together.
Oh yeah.
I loved that day.
So fun.
That was a
It's
good
like
chat.
the only. I've actually only been on 2 field trips. With
And that was
Addison.
one of them.
And that was one. But I could bring Bennett. That's why I did it.
Oh, Ben.
I'm not gonna leave him at home.
No.
Hell to the no. I
No,
have a
and you
problem
want to go
with
see fishies. I love the aquarium.
that. Me too. We should go by ourselves.
I would love that.
I
That
love
would be
it.
so fun.
Okay, so my first memory was were you in leadership at MOPS?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had just come into MOPS, and it was a really hard time for me because I had a huge gap between Addie and Bennett. So I started MOPS when I was still pregnant with him
Whoa.
because she was already she was what, no. She was going on
been
lease.
in like, yeah.
So
Oh,
she
did?
had
Oh,
she was in preschool. Right, so she was in preschool, and I'm pregnant, so it's like, and I'm staying home. It's the first time in my life I've ever stayed home, right?
Really?
I worked with I worked the whole pregnancy with her. I worked everything. I went back to work when she was 6 months old, the whole thing, because I was a teacher. And so I stopped because I miscarried in between them, and I know it was stress related, and that's a whole nother show. But then when I finally got pregnant with Bennett, it was at the end of a school year, and I told Jeremy, like, I can't go back.
No.
Like, if I go back, I'm so afraid I'm
Go
gonna
back
lose
to
this
teaching?
baby. Yeah. And so I stayed home, and he wasn't due until December. So I had September, October,
So what am
November.
I gonna do?
I guess I'll go to MOPS.
Let's go have some brunch.
What was really scary, I didn't know anybody because I just moved from Laguna Beach, like over the hill.
Really, it seemed like
I knew nobody.
Whoa.
And I was so scared because I have like crazy anxiety. So I'm like
my
walking
gosh.
in, I don't know anybody. And it ended up being like the best thing I could have done
It
for
is great.
myself. It was
I
amazing.
agree.
But no, we were at somebody's house, and we were at Katie's house for a planning meeting. And we were talking about, do you remember this?
No.
Oh, and we were talking about doing teen testimony.
Oh
Were
yeah.
you there? Were you there when I gave my testimony? Or was it the next year?
I think I was.
Because I remember you saying, like,
Yeah.
you acted like you
Wait.
made me feel very comfortable. I
Wait,
thought
I'm briefly. It's coming back to me.
we're
I'm
sitting in
briefly
this room,
remembering
and
your testimony.
you're like, I mean, you have this energy about you. I know you don't know this and you don't think this, but you do. And so for you to like, you knew my name, and I was like, oh my gosh, like she knows my name. Like it just felt really good.
I do remember this, but you went right into leadership, didn't you? Or no? Were you just a person at a table?
I think I was a person at a table for a
Okay.
while.
Okay, but you did go into leadership.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do.
But this was like right away, like my first. I
don't
think it
know.
was my first leadership meeting. Wait, why was I there? If it was leadership, maybe I was a leader.
Well, and we'll probably talk about this later.
Okay.
Excuse me, in the show. But the reason why I probably don't remember all of that stuff.
Oh, really? At that point? Okay, hold on.
Is because
So we're talking about addiction today, actually. Let's
Yes.
just throw that out there. It's not like a surprise. But we're talking about addiction and recovery. So I guess we can start in with that. So you were, at that point, you had both your daughters, right back when we met. So you had both your
Yeah.
kids. And you were living in Aliso. And you were just getting drunk a lot?
Well,
how do we do this?
Okay, so, it's interesting with substance abuse because it's never just something that, oh, hey, I'm just going to decide to start at 40. Really, for me, at least for me, it wasn't. Some people, maybe if there's a traumatic event or whatever. But for me, it was many, 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 many years ago. Like, almost 20 years ago.
That you started with substance abuse?
I did.
Oh, well, let's start there then.
Well,
Well, hold on. Okay. So, let's do it like this. Let's do chronologically. So
Yeah.
you grew up, you're one of how many?
I'm one of 4, so I'm number 3. And I have wonderful, loving parents. And I came from an extremely religious background.
Okay. Well, that'll really mess with you, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
And it was just, I was just that kid that was curious and wandering and wanted to try everything and was really emotional.
Wait, and so you probably couldn't try everything?
No.
Because
there
you
was
were a part of this.
A lot of limits, yeah.
Okay, there was a lot of expectations and...
I remember there were times where I would swear into my pillow when I was a little kid because I just wanted to know what it felt like to swear, like to hear those words come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And I would buy those puff cigarettes from the ice cream man, you know, where you pretend you're smoking and like the smoke puff is coming out. Oh, was that cool?
Oh, okay.
So-
Because you couldn't do it, so it made you want to do it. It was like...
Yeah, for me, for my personality, that's just how I am. I've
Yeah.
always been that way.
What about your other brothers and sisters?
No, my oldest sister, she was very, very bright, very smart, talented. My brother, he was like a amazing athlete.
But so they weren't buying the cigarettes from the ice cream man?
No.
They were
And
buying like
my
drumsticks?
They were buying ice cream. And my little brother, he's just great. I mean, there wasn't...
Right.
I just felt really out of place. I
Interesting.
felt like
You
I was in the
always?
wrong family.
You
I
always?
kind of still do.
No way.
yeah, I kind of feel like I was plopped into this weird like Twilight Zone family, and it just wasn't mine.
From the very beginning, from your very
Young, like 8, 9,
Wow.
yeah.
I
And
felt
then-
like that in my family.
Really? See, I told you we're like kindred spirits.
Is anyone else seeing this?
Yeah.
Because
No.
this is fucking crazy, and everybody's pretending that there's not crazy.
Still happening
Yeah.
in my life.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
My family.
Okay. Perfect.
Still crazy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you went from this very religious, like, like a lot of like limits and boundaries, and don't say this and don't do this, and a lot of rules.
Correct.
And so you're like, screw this.
And my parents were like gung ho. Let's do it full in, both feet in. The whole family was in. My dad held high positions in the church. My mom was a well-respected woman. You know, I mean, she's such an amazing woman. She'd literally give her shirt off her back, do anything for you.
Wait, did you ever like embarrass them because they're so like? When did you start to misbehave?
Yeah. Well, my dad held a really high calling in the church,
Okay.
and I was 15, and he sat us all down one day, and he said he's going to be excommunicated from the church. And here, as a 15-year-old girl growing up, you think, oh my gosh, this is my dad. He's everything. You put him on this amazing pedestal, and you know,
You were 15.
I was 15, and I mean my entire world like flashed before my eyes, and my mom's sitting there crying, and I have so many thoughts in my head, and she says she got down on her knees, and the Lord told her to stay with my dad. So I'm like waiting for the ball to drop the other shoe, like, so what happened?
Oh, right.
Hello.
Wait.
I need more details. This is
right.
who I am.
How do you get right? This is my
I'm
identity.
inquisitive, you know. I
Well,
need to
and
know.
also like you're a daughter of very respected people in this church,
and the community.
The community, and now all of a sudden you're being excommunicated. Like, does that mean you're excommunicated?
No, so I mean,
What does that mean? You can't go back?
No, his membership in the church was revoked. So he is just a normal person sitting on a pew with us in the church.
Okay.
He's not on the stage. He's not having another
Ooh, he
call
got to go
in.
on the stage.
He got to talk in the mic.
Ooh.
But he is now just sitting with us on the pew. And
So hold on, but you guys went back to that church?
well, let's go back to that meeting
Okay.
there. You know, my brother.
Keep me on track.
Yeah, my brother was like, "Hey, Dad, I'll do whatever you need. We love you." And my little brother was kind of young; he didn't really understand. And I was like, "Peace, I'm out." And I was just done. Like they weren't giving me any details. I couldn't process it at the time. There was all these lack of trust, abandonment, you know, all of this shady stuff that was going through my brain. Like, oh my gosh, you know, my secure bubble is gone. So
Well, and you are assuming that he's done something inappropriate for him to be
he
excommunicated.
has to have.
Right, so then you're like,
And there's only a few things.
okay,
And we still don't know.
interesting. Well,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like, to think of your, right, so to think of your dad as like this very pure, kind, whatever, and I don't know what the issue was, but
I don't
like,
either.
and then all of a sudden for it to be like, and we're out, like that means you're like, wait, dude,
Right.
you're actually not this guy then.
Correct.
Wow, mind blown. I would,
Correct.
yeah, and then so you were
Yeah.
like, I'm out because I'm not.
And because of my character and like who I am, that was really damaging for me. Like
Yeah.
an extremely detrimental, like pivotal moment in my life. That's
Yeah.
one of those moments where it's like the line in the sand. You don't go back. There is no Emily that used to be. It's the new Emily now.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So
and you were
just
15.
yeah.
And that's a very hard age. Just
it
in
is.
general.
And I was really struggling with substance abuse in the school already. Like at 14,
Wait, what were you
started-
doing at 14?
I was drinking, doing mind-altering drugs, acid, anything to escape.
How did you get them?
Just friends at school.
Oh, so this school had acid.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And I mean lots of cigarettes and alcohol, like
Did your parents
pot,
know?
everything. No, I'm a really good master manipulator.
Perfect. I don't know
It's a
if we
very
should
good
be
quality of mine. I
friends.
take pride in it. So be careful.
Yeah.
No,
You want to be my friend?
yeah. So a few months out, you know, I just
Wait, so you started drinking and doing all the acid and weed and stuff just because. It wasn't
curious.
you were curious, but then at 15 then it got worse because your dad.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I was searching for the escape, then became the escape. Like, hey, let's go to a party, let's go get wasted. Like, I just wanted to get wasted every weekend.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't have to deal with the fact that you
No.
are living with this person that you don't know
And
who it is.
And I didn't know what was going on. Like, it was a very unstable, strange, and I was getting into fights at school, actually. Like, fist fights, getting suspended. Yeah.
Because
I
you
mean,
were drunk?
No,
Or because people were just being assholes?
because yeah, I just was a very angry kid.
Okay.
Like it started to come out and I would yell at people, I'd bully. I mean, not proud of it. I was a really mean person, like punching girls in the face, sitting in the principal's office, getting suspended,
Shut up.
getting arrested. Yeah, it was really nuts. So it just,
I would never in a million years.
but yet here is my dad and my family trying to hold this whole fort down in the community. Oh my gosh, we're a great, LDS family.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and like, I couldn't survive. I couldn't survive.
Yeah.
I was falling apart.
So how did your parents punish you, or like how did like was it like
they
oh,
just
honey,
didn't.
don't do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna take your car keys away. Okay, I had 4 more keys made at the locksmith the other day. Like,
Okay.
bye.
Okay. Oh
I mean, I crashed my brother's car.
Shit,
when I
you're
was
like
15.
my worst nightmare as a child.
I-
I don't want my kids.
I was 15 and put on my brother's baseball hat and drove to Taco Bell down the street and crashed it. I didn't have a driver's license.
Yeah, but did you get Taco Bell?
Yeah, that's really good.
It's my favorite. I love Taco Bell.
But I probably had some alcohol before I drove, and I started
Not
drinking
good.
in my room. I mean, I was making bongs. I was smoking cigarettes
How
out
are
my
you
window.
I would have been petrified that I would have been caught.
I didn't care. Catch me. Like, that was my attitude. It was really bad. Disrespect. Because I just felt like, you're going to disrespect me, crush my world.
See.
I will show you how I'm going to disrespect you.
I see.
And it was like, I mean, I wouldn't do it now. I would be
Well,
devastated if I
right.
disrespected them now.
No,
But it was this weird thing. I don't know, getting.
I feel like maybe sometimes, and you can correct me because I'm not an addiction specialist. I'm actually not even a life specialist. I'm just a person.
You're an
But
addiction
I'm a specialist of. I'm. You know what I'm really good at? Smelling bullshit. I
Okay.
can smell that
Yeah.
a mile away. I can see it.
Well, that's
and
a
I'm
pretty good
out.
specialty around
I'm
here.
out.
Good.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that.
We don't have time for that. That should be the name of the podcast. I don't have time for that.
Mm-mm.
Okay. What was I going to say? So, addiction. Maybe it's like a control thing. Like, hey, you know what? Like, I can't control my crazy, like, this going on here and this going on here and this going, but this, I got this. Like, it's a control thing. Like, I know I'm going to get drunk and it's going to feel good, and I know how to it's like a self-soothing, I don't know.
Well, you can control it until one day you just can't anymore.
I see.
Or you control it until you get a DUI or you get in an
Okay.
accident. And
Okay, hold on. So you were, naughty, and then did it get naughtier as you grew up?
well, no, it was kind of interesting. So I went away to college for a few years, tried to do the religious, nice, good Christian thing and marry a good boy. And I got engaged twice to 2 of those guys. And it just wasn't the life for me. I couldn't do it.
Okay.
And so that's kind of, I'm trying to think about the timeline here. That's when I started struggling with my back. So,
What happened to your back?
well, I've had a few back surgeries.
Because?
I just have a chronic degenerative disc
Oh, dang
thing.
it.
Yeah. So it was in my early 20s, 2004, and I had, actually it started in 2003. And this is like, late teens, early 20s of drinking and partying and clubbing. I mean, LA every other weekend, 2 or 3 nights all the time. I mean,
I'm
it
exhausted
was
thinking about
so fun. I'm sorry, it was really fun.
I'm sure it was. You know what
Vegas,
I wish
hop, skipping, and jumps to Vegas. Oh, so fun.
See, I never did any of that. I kind of want to go back and do it a little bit.
You might have to, but I don't know if I'm the person to do it.
I don't know if I mean,
I'm
no,
kinda boring.
All right. Right.
But
Okay.
But anyway, so I started having really bad back pain, and I blew my back out. It was my low back, like totally blew it out. It was no joke. I had they called it drop leg syndrome, where my right leg is dragging. Yeah, my disc came off and shredded my sciatic nerve in my right leg. So it was more pain than you can ever
Were you married at this time?
imagine. No,
No, you were just.
I was
single.
having-
You
yeah, I
were
was
still
living the
paying
life.
it. Okay.
yeah, single. I probably had 4 or 5 boyfriends.
Okay.
I don't know.
You were
But-
not in a committed relationship.
No monogamy here.
Okay.
But yeah, so the pain was excruciating. So we went to see my first back surgeon, and he was great. And he said, "Here, take these. They'll relieve your pain till your surgery." And this
Okay.
was my real first experience with opiates. I mean, it
I
wasn't really a
see.
big deal. No one talked about it then, and the doctors really weren't like, "Oh my gosh, this is a scary drug. Hey, take this. Here's a whole giant bottle full of them, and call me if you need more." So that's what happened, over and over, calling. I was taking handfuls of these things. The pain would not stop. I couldn't lay, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't walk. It was insane.
And how many did you have to take before the pain would go away?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Well, at that time, the pain never went away. It was probably 3 months of chronic pain. I was a zombie. I would pace the house. I had to move in with my parents. I had a condo at the time. I had to move in with my parents. I could not function. I mean, I couldn't even live my life. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping.
Because the
pain.
Oh, because the pain.
And the opiates were okay, but I couldn't take enough of them. I mean, and this was kind of at the early stage. I didn't really know like what all of this stuff was doing to my body.
Right.
So I had the surgery, and I came home that night, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom, I feel great. There was literally no pain. So I stopped taking the drugs. In the middle of the night, I felt like there were bugs crawling all over me, and that's your detox. And because of all the meds I was taking, and nobody told me, hey, Emily, you're gonna start to wean down off that stuff and eventually get off. No one told me. So I just stopped taking it, and my mom's like, you can't do that. So we slowly got off the meds, and within a few months.
You're saying, so that is one of the withdrawal symptoms is feeling like bugs are crawling all over you?
Yeah, it's just I don't know necessarily like the scientific way of it, but it's just all of your stuff, your body is extremely sensitive, and your muscles are rebuilding and sloughing off all the opiates that are covering I don't know, all that fun stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I probably should know more, but I don't.
No, that's fine.
So you feel like you're, like coming off of crack or something, where I've never come off crack, but you're shaking and you're sweating and you're scratching at your skin and you can't get it all off.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Okay.
So
then you take it because wait, how did you
off of it?
But you didn't. So who told you that you?
Well, my mom is really smart, and she's really like scientific and medical stuff.
She
so
knew
she's like, come on, we'll just take half right now.
Oh, okay.
Like it wasn't where I was super addicted yet. Like it wasn't an emotional addiction for me yet.
Okay.
It was just a physical thing. But I had
see.
no more pain, so I got off of it. So my back feels great. I'm partying. I'm living. I'm having a great time. And I meet my husband. That's when Pat and I got engaged, and we dated for 4 years.
And through that time, were you struggling at all? Like you were just partying?
Partying, other fun party drugs, all that kind of stuff.
No, I don't.
Well, Coke and mushrooms, and I mean, I love drugs.
No, I'm not. There's no judgment here.
Any kind of mind-altering drugs to escape reality was for me.
Okay, and then
I never shot heroin. I never did meth or anything like that.
There's no judgment. I'm.
But yeah, all the other stuff. Like you give me a handful of pills, I'll just take them without even asking.
I would be so scared.
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite. I'm like the one who would like die from like looking at them or something,
But yeah, pills I could control. I can control the outcome of pills. Like if I knew I was
a sure thing.
Yeah, alcohol you never really know. Oh, it hits you. Oh shoot, I'm throwing up. I'm sick. I'm blacking out. Like I couldn't handle the alcohol effect. I liked the stable feeling of the pills.
Okay.
I know. So then I met Pat, my husband, and we're dating, we're courting. It's fabulous. And then my back starts hurting again, same spot, and I'm realizing, okay, this is not good.
Oh no.
So we're dating, and he's 2 years in, and he's off playing football in Texas, and I go in for my second back surgery, where they go through the front and they replace 2 discs with titanium discs and a cage fusion in the bottom of my back. So prior to all of this, I was seeing a new doctor at UCLA, and he was pretty tight with the pills. So I had to really manage those. It wasn't like a big, strong, flowing addiction yet. It was just managing the pain, until surgery.
Yeah.
Well, after the recovery, it was huge. It was months and months and months of recovery, therapy, rehab, 4 days a week. I mean, the pain, it was excruciating. So the pills are flowing. And finally the doctor says, hey, you need to go see a pain management doctor. And so that's like your next step. So after you leave your orthopedic, they say, oh, we don't want to take care of you anymore, really. Thanks for the surgery, but our work here is done, which is great. And here's the next phase, which is a pain management doctor, which would continue the prescriptions.
Okay, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They just
say, here's the pills, or if you need steroid shots. And for most people, they're great. But for people like me, who I was seeking other stuff.
Right.
And more.
Right.
It was bad. So yeah. So that happened, and it started to really flow, like the pills every day.
Did your pain management doctor give you too much or like too high of a dose?
No.
You just took more? Or
I just took it regularly.
I see.
And that's when it really started to become a problem in my life, because opiates, they work great until they don't, and they lose their potency, and so you have to take more, or you have to take something else. So with the opiates, I started having anxiety, which I don't now because I'm clean. I'm not on that crap,
I see.
So I went in for Xanax, and then my muscles started spasming. Oh, doctor, my muscle. Okay, so you go in for a Soma. So now I've got 3 things, and then doctor, I can't sleep. Oh, here, let me give you some Ambien. So I've got all these pills, and on top of it, I'm drinking, I'm partying, and it's like, hey, whoa, don't you love me? Marry me, baby. Like
I'm a catch.
I'm floating. But Pat didn't really know everything. You don't really talk about all of that stuff. You think, oh, I've got this under control for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got married, and
okay, so it wasn't that out of control. Like, what did he ever bring it up to you?
I think by nature I'm just a really fun, crazy kind of out of control person. So I think he just thought, oh, that's just her.
It's just part of who she is. Okay.
It never really like shifted or changed or got worse or got better.
For him, it was all the same.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think he likes it too that I'm a little nutty, hence the Scorpio. But
So
so
you get married.
we get married, and I actually really marriage was hard for me. I didn't really want to be locked down. Like, that's my type of nature. Even as a little girl, I didn't want to fit into this box, and this is what marriage was, another box for me, and I couldn't handle it. So the first few months I just really rebelled, and I was still going to Vegas and leaving my husband. Sorry, Pat. But we decided, for me, I was 30 and I wanted to have a family. I wanted to have kids, so we knew we had to get on it.
Okay.
So I discussed with him that I needed to get clean before we got pregnant. So I detoxed myself in the fall.
But he didn't really
year.
know that you needed to detox.
Well, he kind of knew I was on pills, and he knew that I was seeing a doctor. And,
Okay. But it was all because of the back, so it like made sense.
Right. It
Okay.
was, I had a prescription.
I see.
I had a prescription from a doctor.
Right.
So
So it must make
Yeah.
it okay.
right.
Yeah. Okay. So you told him, you're like, hey, I really want to have a baby, and like I think I need to detox from all this stuff.
Yeah, I needed to clean out my body before I was a host for a little human.
Okay, good. Well, that's responsible.
I try.
I like it.
So that happened. It took about 2 weeks, and I just drank a ton and took tons of Xanax, but at least I got off the opiates, and then I got off the other stuff. So the opiates were really hard for me to get off of.
Okay.
And then once I was done with the opiates, I could get rid of the other stuff.
And was that easy for you?
No, it's never easy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're sick as a dog. I had to lock myself in my room for a few days, just just get drunk, just do anything I could for the feeling of shaking and sweating and throwing up and
Oh my
all
gosh.
of that. Yeah, you're freezing cold, you're clammy. It's weird.
Sounds like the flu.
A little bit.
Okay. It's like the flu, and you're having an allergy attack.
Times 100.
Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so you locked yourself in your room,
Yeah.
and Pat was like, "It's cool."
Yeah.
She was just locking herself.
I think
in her
I
room.
made it seem a little bit easier than it was. I didn't want
see.
him to know that this was a serious thing for me.
Okay.
And then we got pregnant, like right away.
Oh.
So yeah, so I was like, yay! So I'm pregnant, and it was the best time I ever felt. My body felt great. I was
Because you didn't
clean.
do anything.
I was clean. I didn't even
Good
drink.
for you.
It was awesome. I mean, and I really recognized how good my body felt,
I
and there
see.
wasn't a lot of pain,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
I see.
Then I had a C-section because of my back, and they said,
Okay.
here's these pills for you to go home to.
No.
Take these, you'll feel so great.
No.
And part of my brain was like, yes, I get to do it again.
Okay.
These are my best friends.
Okay. How do you take care of a baby if you're
Yeah.
having on?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't really.
Well, yeah. I wasn't like super drooling high, but
But like, can you?
I was
like, are
checking
you
out.
breastfeeding?
mhm,
So is she drinking opioids?
yeah, I guess.
Was she chill? Does it chill
Well,
you? Do
no,
opiates chill you?
She was really difficult. She
Oh.
would stop breathing. She had asthma.
Wait, what?
She was allergic to everything under the sun. She was colic, and therefore I never slept.
Oh my gosh.
So I rolled into a really heavy postpartum depression.
Holy crap. Did you have any help?
My mom came out for a few weeks, and then Pat was straight back at work the next day. You know,
That was Jeremy too.
and
I just want to make sure this is like recording everything. Keep talking.
is it recording?
Yeah, it is. I'm like feeling like it's not as loud as it should be. Keep talking.
So, that's really loud.
Is that better?
Is it better for you?
Kind of.
Okay.
I want it. I got it. You can cut this out, Lyndon, but I got this like email from him that said my mics, something was wrong with my mic, so that's why I'm like paranoid.
Okay. You do sound louder. It sounds good.
Okay.
All right, go. So Naomi, you come home with Naomi.
Uh-huh.
You had a C-section. Obviously, there's going to be pain with a C-section. They
Yeah.
prescribe you opioids,
Yeah.
and
And we got the ball rolling again.
Alright.
It was on. I couldn't get off the ride. It was like this Ferris wheel that just keeps going round and round.
so then you go in for your 12-week checkup or whatever, and they're like, you still need pills.
Well, so yeah, my OB was really great. I think he knew. He's like, and we need to go see your pain management doctor. So I was like, okay, wow. So I had my guy out here, so I just kept going. But I was prescribed something for my depression, which was really helpful
Oh, good.
because that's a whole nother show too.
I know.
But as soon as I could get some more sleep, which wasn't for many years, maybe even still.
I don't think I slept a full night until my youngest was 5, like 3 weeks ago.
Whoa. Hey, welcome to the party.
Oh my gosh, I'm a new woman.
It is everything. Sleep
is
is everything.
100%. Okay,
So I was still,
so you found a
Still
way
on
to
the
get.
ride.
You found a way to keep getting
yeah,
the pills. And were you
then-
still drinking? Then you went back to drinking.
Oh yes, and then I realized, wow, Xanax is really my friend as a mom. So I was taking Xanax bars. I actually would go down to Mexico with a friend and get them, and I was taking them.
Who's taking care of Naomi when you're in Mexico?
I had a babysitter,
Oh,
nanny.
yeah.
She came. Well, I was losing. I actually met her at MOPS. She was one of the gals in the kids' room at MOPS.
Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Does she still work there?
I'll tell you about her later.
Okay.
But yeah, so I had her, and she was great. I mean, she was a mother of two. I mean, man, I don't know what I would do without her, and I'm gonna start crying if I talk about her.
Okay.
She's really great. But she and Naomi really connected. She
Okay.
understood Naomi, and Naomi's on the spectrum too. So she has sensory processing disorder.
Okay.
So everything was really sensitive to her: sound, noise, movement, food, everything. And
Yeah.
it still kind of is. But
Uh-huh.
so that was hard to deal with. I was learning that too. But yeah, so that they're 2.5 years apart, and we get to the point where you say, hey, we want to have another baby.
Okay.
So I go through a detox again. I lock myself in my room, and I do the whole thing over again. And this time it was harder. I feel like each time was getting harder and harder and harder.
Okay.
And so I did it, and we got pregnant with Lila right away. And yeah, so that happened, and I was pregnant with her,
And
and
you
I
had
felt
another,
great.
but you had another C-section.
I had another C-section, and they say, here you go home with your best friends. And so I get pills.
Okay.
And for me, it was actually like relieving, because I thought, oh my gosh, this is so great. I know how they're gonna make me feel. It's this very familiar feeling. It's like a comfort blanket. It's really strange. I can't quite describe it.
Okay.
But it was like a breath of fresh air in a way. Like, oh, I could do this with those things. I could make it through with those pills. I
I
could do it.
see.
Anyway, so I was doing that thing, and it was really tough with 2 kids, especially with the stuff that was going on with Naomi. And Pat works
Right.
tons.
Well, I
and-
mean, just having a diagnosis,
Mhm.
and for your child, that's enough to throw you over the deep end, let alone
Yeah.
dealing with the withdrawals and a newborn baby and a husband that travels all the time and
Yeah.
parents that you're.
It's just mommy life,
Yes.
And I totally disappeared. I became invisible to myself, and I felt like everybody else. You just kind of lose sight of who you are.
So the nanny was basically raising Naomi and.
Well, she just came Mondays and Wednesdays from
Okay.
9 to 12 in the morning, so it wasn't a long
Oh,
time.
okay.
But it gave me a chance to do a few things I needed to do,
Like go to Mexico.
like that.
Perfect. Hey, at least you got someone to take care of your kids.
She was safe. The kids were safe.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, but the thing with pills too is it's not like alcohol. You kind of there's like a progression. Oh, you're drinking, you feel the buzz. Oh, you're having a good time, and then you're drunk, and it's like, hey, party's over.
Party's over.
With the pills, you have to take and space them out regularly. So for me, I had to make sure if I had 5 or 6 a day, I take one every 4 to 5 hours. And don't take too many, when you have to drive, or don't drink and drive. So I would do a lot of my stuff at night.
Okay.
So when I put the girls to bed, and I'd be like, yes, I'd pour this giant glass of wine or vodka, take 3 opiates that I've saved, and I'm super cranky because I'm coming off the
I see.
opiate from 1 o'clock.
Was this what? And was your husband home?
Yeah, he's home.
And he doesn't know that you.
I mean, not really.
Yeah.
I don't think he did.
Yeah. No, I believe that. I
Yeah.
100% believe
I
that.
don't think he, like, the whole extent of it all. And then I would take 2 Somas and 2 Ambien. I'd look at him and I'd say, I hope I wake up in the morning. Good night. And I would just, like, crash.
Oh my gosh. So how was your marriage at this time?
I don't think there was really a relationship. It was really bad.
Yeah, I don't think you are.
I couldn't.
I'm in my therapy. I'm learning you can't actually have an authentic relationship with an addict
No, you can't.
because the
I'm not
addict
authentic.
is not
In tune.
they don't have the capability of having a relationship
That's right.
when they're an addict.
And nor do I think they want to.
Right, because it's about the.
I mean, there's times where there's times I'd want to be close to people and I'd wonder why I couldn't have a close girlfriend, why my husband and I couldn't be close. But then I realized I don't love myself. Why would anybody else want to love me? It's like, it's such a grown-up concept.
It is a kind of concept. Did you ever go to therapy through all this?
Yeah, I did. I had a therapist. And
Through
yeah.
all the opioids and everything?
And I had to like time it because I couldn't take my pill before my therapy.
Wait, holy shit,
So I'd have to
she
take it
didn't know?
after. No, and nobody really knew. I don't think my parents knew, my siblings didn't know, none of my friends knew. None of my friends knew.
Crazy. So at MOPS, you're telling me that you were high?
Totally.
Totally.
And it was way cool some days.
I'm sure it was. That's right. I'm sure it was way more exciting
It was.
some days when you were.
It was pretty crazy. But yeah, and so then, continue on like a timeline real quick. So it just kept going and going. And then a few years after that, 3 years, we got pregnant again.
Did you detox? And then
No. So it was early in pregnancy, and my mom came up and I said, okay, Mom, you need to watch the kids for a week. I'm going to go through a detox. So I did while I was early pregnant. It was really hard, really gross.
Oh.
And I didn't fully 100% get off all of them. I was still taking like a half a pill a day, or it was really,
Yeah.
anyway. So we were super excited. We're gonna have a 3rd baby, and we found out it was a boy, and we had a big party. And then I go in for my 4.5-month ultrasound, and there's no heartbeat. Yeah, and there's sweet little Lila sitting in her stroller, and the doctor is swearing and swearing and swearing at the ultrasound machine. And I just looked at him. I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. And so I get in my car and I realize, you know what?
Wait, so at 4, right, so
Yeah.
Naomi would have been in school, preschool.
She was in
You would have
preschool.
still had Lila at home with you. And so you were just going for a routine.
Yeah, it was just, he wanted to see me. It's the high risk pregnancy because you're older.
I see.
And yeah, he has no explanation for it. They don't even understand. There was just no heartbeat. He
I
wasn't
know.
supposed to be here.
I miscarried at 3 months, and that was horrific.
It is.
And Addie was sitting there in the room, and and it was the one. I was like 14 weeks, and we were gonna. I don't know. We were talking about, is it a boy or girl? You're
Yeah.
talking about it with your little kid, your little daughter, and it was an ultrasound technician, and they don't tell you anything,
Oh,
And so she goes, I'll be right back. I have to go get the doctor.
I bet your heart just sank.
I knew right away. Because I had Addison, so I knew what we were looking for here. Like I knew.
Yeah.
And it was like my womb was like black. There was no, how when the baby moves, it like
There's
changes
that space
color.
in there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremy was with me, and he was like, "No, it's fine." I'm like, "It's not fine.
No.
It's not fine
No,
anymore."
you're the mama.
And then they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna have the doctor call you." Like, okay. And like,
I need
no
to
one's
know right
calling
now.
me. No one's calling me.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm calling the OB. I'm not getting hold of. Like, will somebody just tell me?
Wait, they sent you home?
Yes.
Not knowing,
Mhm.
with this feeling in your stomach, like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
I know.
That's
Anyways,
terrible.
uh,
That's terrible.
That's another story. But I can empathize. I can feel that.
Mhm.
That's like losing because I don't know. It's still my baby. I mean, for me, I wouldn't have been it, right? If I would have had
That's
this
true.
baby.
There's
But it's a loss.
It is a loss, and there's a space that just kind of doesn't ever fill.
Yeah, it's weird, and unless you've miscarried, and you miscarried at a lot further along, there is something really painful about that.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I think that because all of that happened, and right after that, the next day, he said, we want to get you in for a procedure to get him out. So I had to go in, and they put me under, and they took him out. I had a DNC, and they didn't quote get everything. So I had to go in for a second. And at this time in my life, we had a giant slab leak in our house, so we had moved out. So we were living in a rental house in Laguna Woods here, Laguna Niguel. And so we had done that, and I miscarried a baby, and I'm having all these procedures. And so my body is just wrecked.
100%.
So the second time,
Survival.
they couldn't clean it out either. I guess there was some placenta that was stuck to the back of my C-section scar inside. So I had to go to a specialist. And, you're having all these procedures, like physically, but emotionally and mentally, I'm just numb. Like there's no feeling. I've compartmentalized it. I am far gone, spaced out.
I can't. Yes, I would understand that.
So this next procedure, they scraped me awake, and the two nurses held me down, and it was the worst experience of my life. But because I'm such a pro at escaping, I totally escaped.
You just numbed out the whole time.
I just numbed out, and I was like, okay, this is what we're doing, and I just need to get this baby out. It was a very strange, it's almost like I was floating above my body. I was looking at myself.
That's called disassociation.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
And so that's what was happening, because I couldn't handle the extreme pain, that emotional pain that was happening. And there was no support. Like, my husband's great, and he's my husband, but there was no support, family, friends. I was so locked away from everybody else, so isolated that there was no support. I was all alone.
Right.
So, you go home to your rental house, and your house is leaking, and your husband's gone, and what do? Oh, you go find your best friends, and you go take your pills, and you drink your wine, and you drink your Tito's vodka, because it's gluten-free.
I mean...
And that is the only way that I knew how to cope. I had the worst coping mechanisms ever. And that's that's a pattern you'll find too with addicts, is I just didn't know how to cope with all of these stressors in my life.
I think too, you started before there was even major big problems to numb from.
Yeah. And so this was so familiar. I just go do that. Hey, I'm just going to go.
I'm feeling a little stressed.
Mom's going to go upstairs for a minute, and I just go find my pills and take care of it and stay home. I don't drive, the kids are, it's terrible, and it's shameful to even say that, but the kids are home and they're safe, the door's locked. But
listen,
mommy's high.
Here's the thing.
It's crazy.
Mama's too.
Hey, mom's feeling good.
I have to believe that this is a lot more prevalent than we think it is.
That's so true.
Because, the fact that you're even saying this, and I know that it brings shame and all these awful feelings.
Yeah.
But I'm so blessed by your vulnerability, because someone else, that you're not alone. This is very common.
It is. And I can understand why. Because being a mom is not easy. And we hold the fort down, and we have these perfect lives out here. Quote, perfect lives.
I'm like, I don't know whose life you've been looking at. I know it's hard. So wait. So what was you're clean and sober now? So there was a breaking point.
So this was it. That was the point. Okay. That I totally fell off the wagon, face first in the mud. I couldn't handle life. I was just isolating. I was using. It was really, really heavy and dramatic. So a few months after that, I want to say about 6 months, there was there was a few things that happened, but I sought out a life coach, because I realized my life is really in the shitter.
Okay.
So it was a friend of ours, and I went and I had a one day with him, and we sat for 4 hours, and we do values, goals, purpose, and honestly, all of those things didn't matter. I just wanted to go do drugs. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there thinking, what am I doing here? I want to get out of here. I don't care about my values or my beliefs. Are you kidding?
Right.
So I left, and a few days later, he called Pat and I, and He's a dear friend of ours, and he said, you know, Emily, I think, and I kind of disclosed to him that I was taking some medication, and he said, you know, Emily, I think you should really seek some help. And that was the first time in my mind I thought, oh my gosh, there's actually a place where I can go to get help. I had no idea. I thought it was like this silent battle in my home, in my jail cell in my house. I felt trapped. But that was the first moment where I thought, oh my gosh, there's actually a place where I can get help, and I don't have to do this anymore.
You know what's so crazy is we start off and it sounds very exciting and like super fun, and then it becomes like, and then you described it as a prison. It's like, it goes from like so enticing to like, I can't get out.
Well, yeah, and the drugs weren't my problem. That's my solution. It was what was inside that's my problem. That's where I was broken. Is my soul was broken.
I see.
So I realized, you know what, I am so lonely. I could be in a room full of people. My husband could be the most generous, loving man, and I am so lonely. I was desperate to feel loved and just to be a better person. So I don't know which addict or alcoholic does this, but I actually went to the treatment facility and had a tour. I made a reservation. I drove all the way out to Palm Springs. I went to the Betty Ford Center. And
you're very responsible.
I toured. I wanted to make sure where I was sleeping, girl. I wanted to make sure I wasn't wearing orange.
What are we serving for breakfast and lunch?
What's the food? How are my showers? Is it my own room? The campus is gorgeous there. It is a really beautiful, beautiful place. And so
if it was awful, you'd be like, I'm out.
Peace.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so I went and I did that, and then a week later, I got all my affairs in order. We hired a full-time nanny, so Pat could still work, and I told just a few people that this was happening. But I booked 30 days at the Betty Ford Center, and a week later, I got a one-way ticket, one-way ride.
You left.
I left
After 1 week.
After 1 week of all of that stuff happening. Yeah.
Why?
It was May 15th. I knew this was my one shot. This is the one shot I got.
Oh, no. You got...
I hadn't been there yet.
Okay.
I hadn't been there yet.
You came back.
No, I didn't leave. Okay, so I went to look, I did a tour, and then I came home, and I got all my affairs in order.
And you said, I'm doing it.
And I left. I took a one-way ticket, and I'll never forget my driver that drove me there.
Okay.
I sat in the car for 2 hours and cried and smoked a whole pack of cigarettes, and the sweet, sweet man held my hand. You can do it. Emily, you can do it. He wheeled my bag in for me. And he blew me a kiss and he said, I'll pray for you.
Oh, honey.
I know. Really kind man. There's good people in this world.
It's so, I know they're very far few and in between.
But I think that he saw the desperation in my eyes. He saw my kids wave to me at the front door. And he saw my husband blow me a kiss. And then we got in the car and that was it. So I knew that this was it. This was my shot. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get clean. I'm going to get sober. I'm going to be the best mom ever. I'm going to be the best wife. And it was a living nightmare there. The facility was great, but...
It was beautiful, but it was really hard.
It was... a therapist there described it to me as you're festering down in hell in your addiction, and you're down there in this dark place, and you're trapped, and you literally have to climb out. Hand, tooth, nail, all of those things. To get out of your dungeon. And that's what it was. I was sick for 3 weeks. I lost 10 pounds. I had to have IVs. The medication I was coming off of was so much. But
you got good therapy there. I would have to assume that's probably the first time you've ever like sought help and you were completely honest about it.
Yes.
Everybody.
I don't know if I was completely honest even yet.
But but they knew you were a drug addict.
Well, yeah, and they sure treat you like one.
Oh.
Yeah, you're on lockdown.
Okay.
It's not jail. It's not crazy, but it's rehab.
Yeah.
We're going to rehab. But I made some really good friends, and I realized, you know what? I am not the only person in the world going through this. There's other women my age that are here, that are normal people. Some of them weren't. Some of them were in soap operas, but I was just a normal mom there, just looking to get healthy.
So you were there for 30 days, and then how was that coming home.
30 days. It was tough, but they taught you routine and schedule. And for me, as a kind of a free spirit, I don't like routine and schedule. I always like steered away from it. But in recovery, I realized I thrive in it and I need it. So they taught me a lot of stuff, and that was one of the big ones. And then they taught us about, working a program. And, the first thing you got to do is get out and find a sponsor, go to the meetings. So that's what I did.
Have someone that holds you accountable.
Yep.
You can't hide.
Nope, you have to report to them. They have to hear your voice every day. You meet with them.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot. So I came home, and it was really strange. It was difficult. I felt like I was a fish out of water. My husband gave me a lot of space. He was really great. A lot of grace and forgiveness. I mean, we worked on stuff in our marriage too, he and I.
Yeah.
So that was
Oh,
a big...
at the Betty Ford Center.
The last week there, they had a family week, and he came out, and we did some therapy, and we talked to some therapists, and he could see the change in me, because I'm clean, I'm bright-eyed, I'm not foggy and whining and antsy and agitated all the time, and so yeah.
But you're kind of changing the rules. Like when the addict gets sober, now you have to learn to live with the sober person.
Yeah.
You're like Pat, like you would have to like learn how to live.
Yeah, and we still are.
Right.
I mean, it's been a few years, but yeah.
So did you
Totally
have you
different.
ever relapsed?
No.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
make up your mind and you make it happen.
not today, at least.
Okay.
I can't tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Well, I have a lot of faith in you.
Thank you.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of willpower there. It sounds like
Yeah.
you just want to be the one in charge of making the decisions for your life.
Well, I mean, I clearly have a higher power, because that's how I have to do it. Because I learned that I'm really not in control. If I think I am, I get all crazy in my head. But I knew that, my kids are little, and I saw a lot of women in the Betty Ford Center that had older kids, and their kids had been taken from them, or something happened, and that just broke my heart.
Well, your kids fucking hate you. If you don't show up, like for me, because my parents were both addicts, like,
Wow.
why am I paying for your shit?
Right.
I'm still paying for it because you didn't get your shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
And that's what I didn't want.
Right, and that's not your kid's story,
No.
right? Your kids, their story isn't that their mom is a drug. They don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that.
And that's beautiful.
They might now if they hear this, but
Well, we'll give them a couple years.
yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I didn't want that to be my story right then. I mean, I honestly can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but for now in our family and my recovery, there's no relapse, and yeah, and so I left the Betty Ford Center, and I realized, oh my gosh, I need a community, I need fellowship. So I'm this strange person, and I'm really getting to know me. I didn't know who I was.
Right.
What do I like? I
Yeah.
like new things. I'm feeling emotions. I was really angry, and a lot of the anger, the pills numbed the anger. So in therapy, I mean, I actually went face to face with the therapist, stood up, like she was in my face. Like there was a lot of anger. There was another girl I got after, and they were really after me with my anger. So my one therapist like, Emily, maybe you should start boxing. So I started boxing in there, and it helped.
Good.
But yeah, so you're like learning who you are now.
Like
and
all these things
what
that
you
like
I
I feel like for me too, I mean, and whether you've come from, because drug addiction as a child, like that's traumatic. Like you're not developing the way that a typical child should develop when
No.
you're doing
It's
drugs.
very
right?
unstable.
So it's almost like you had to do that now.
Mhm.
In your recovery, you're learning
Totally.
what you like, what you don't like. You're being angry because like when you were little you couldn't be because
Yeah.
it wasn't safe, and now you have all these big feelings and you don't know how. I remember.
It sounds really juvenile, but it's the truth.
Well, it's
crazy.
This is real life, Emily.
Hey, girl.
Okay. No, this is real life. Like if
Yeah.
if you didn't have a safe, nurturing place to do these sorts of things, it will happen. It will come out. People, if you didn't like, I mean, I'm just so grateful that you went to therapy, because there are so many people that just don't go to therapy, and then they have their midlife crisis, and they think that they just they really just don't know themselves and what they want, and they are the ones who are ruining their family now because they weren't
Absolutely.
in touch with who they are.
Absolutely. And it's also about learning to live your life on life's terms, because life is just going to throw it at you. It's not easy.
No, it's being ready for the next wave because it's coming.
Yeah, and I needed to build up my toolbox. So I knew that they told me, you go to the meetings, you get a sponsor, you work a program, and you get therapy.
Okay.
And that's what I needed to clean out my closet. I needed to be honest. I needed to be
Yeah.
transparent, walk in the sunlight, so everybody can see all the way through me. That was my goal. Because I was so mischievous, and you know, I was such a liar. So
that's a trait of an addict.
yeah. So now that's what I do.
So you're living your life and you have a sponsor.
I
and
do.
You have someone that do you like meet friends and stuff?
Yeah, and I have a few sponsees, so I'm a sponsor. I know it's a
Well,
really
what?
scary thing, and it's super responsible, and I feel like a big adult. I know, but it's such a gift. I mean, I didn't realize how much sponsoring somebody would bless me. It's really cool that I get to walk someone through the steps.
I am like, yeah, because I can just because you know exactly how they feel.
I do.
That's powerful. That's the power in being vulnerable. Is you find people that you know exactly how they feel, and there's a connection that you can make with that.
Yeah, and being vulnerable isn't about being weak. It's about being strong.
100%. It's
courage
way more
to walk the walk.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, this is hard.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do this.
No, Brene Brown has been my big friend in all her books in my early recovery.
She's rad.
I really, really love how she talks about vulnerability.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Dr. Laura did say one thing one time that I really liked. She, some girl was coming in and she's like, my dad just died and I haven't cried and I'm just trying to be strong. And she's like, what does strength have to do with crying?
Oh.
How are you defining strength? That if you don't cry that you're strong? Because that's crap. Like
I agree with that.
Like if you're hurt, you should cry. That doesn't have anything to do with your strength.
No.
Like you have to feel
Sorry,
the
Dr.
feel.
Laura. I disagree with you.
What do you mean?
I agree. Strength is not about...
No, she did say that.
Oh, yeah, no.
Dr. Laura said that.
I'm saying, sorry, Dr. Laura. I don't agree with Dr. Laura. Do you think that... Wait, am I misunderstanding you?
Yeah, I'm saying that Dr. Laura told the girl that you not crying for your dad doesn't mean that you didn't love him. Or
that it's not strength.
Right,
that
she's
you're not...
saying that
okay, I agree
feeling
with that.
the feels and responding to the feeling is strength.
Absolutely.
And we as a society assume that if we don't cry, we're strong.
Yes, but I think strength comes in so many different forms.
But she's just saying you need to feel those feelings.
Totally.
And that's where I'm at, kind of like in my message, is like, if you don't feel those feelings, they're going to get locked somewhere in your physical, but you have got to get the feelings out. Or that's where all these like chronic issues physically come from, or come and are stemmed from. They're finding now in
Absolutely.
research and stuff.
Absolutely.
And so it's actually stronger and more beneficial to everybody around you and yourself to actually
feel the feels.
feel the feel and then act as age appropriate and socially acceptable ways. Like don't go fucking I don't know, doing something crazy. But I mean it's important to and for me, in my recovery from trauma, I'm learning that I didn't even know the words to describe the feelings.
Yes. Well,
That's a whole other
you
thing.
need to name it. It's
Yeah.
super important to understand what you're feeling.
Right.
If it's fear, if it's sadness.
So are you then able to, do you kind of like therapy the girls or people?
No, and I tell them I'm not their therapist.
Okay.
It's their programs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 steps.
Okay.
And it's their program, and they can do what they want with it. And I'm just here to guide them.
Okay. Have you had people relapse?
Not yet,
Okay.
but there are, in a family life of recovery, and you see the bad, you see the great, you see the amazing lives people live, but you also see the really bad and the sadness and the struggle and the demon
Yes.
that is inside of us. Not all of us, but most of us, some of us.
Yeah.
And you're only as sick as your secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing is to clean out your closet, to get honest. And in the program, I feel that a relapse usually starts a ways back before you actually physically pick up that drink or the drug.
I see.
Whether it's your spiritual program or you have resentments or there's something you're not
working through, but I see.
Mm-hmm. So you have to live a really clean, pure, healthy life.
Physically, mentally, emotionally,
yeah, you got to do all the stuff.
Yeah.
It's a package, girl. It's a package deal. At least for me, it is. This is a
So
super big package.
if there was somebody out there listening and like they hear this and they're like, this is me, this is me. What would you say?
Well, first of all, I would just say, number one, you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
You're not alone. There's tons of women out there that are suffering or are healing.
Yeah.
Seek out a friend.
A
You can
safe,
out-
a safe friend.
A safe friend. Yeah, there's a lot of gossip and judgment
Yeah.
and talking about people, and it's just not healthy. It's not okay, and it's not healthy.
Not
Seek
safe.
out somebody that's safe.
Yep.
And just do for me, I would just do the next right thing.
Do you know you are speaking my language? Well, this is why we're friends. So, we had taken in my husband's nephew who was 10 for
Oh,
a
yeah.
year.
I
which is
remember.
a whole other traumatic
That
event for
is.
my life.
I do remember that year.
It was another hard year. And he very low performing, not because he intellectually couldn't perform, but because nobody had ever spent any time with him, helping him to develop emotionally,
Yeah.
in education, intellectually. And I was all over the place. My husband's traveling. I have a 3-year-old Bennett, and I'm like, my daughter's in 1st grade. Like, I'm overwhelmed just being me. And I went to one of the school counselors and I was like, I don't know what to do for him. Like, I don't even know 4th grade math. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to like help this kid. I don't even know. She goes, sometimes in the midst of stuff and all of this stuff, you have to just do the next right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, Jen, if that looks like, okay, get out of bed, brush your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
The next right thing is to make breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
The next right thing is to clean up breakfast.
Step
The
by
next
step.
right thing, like, we get so big and broad and it feels so crazy and unattainable, but
Future tripping.
that's how I got through. That's how I got through that year of my life. And then that's how I have gotten through the rest of the life. Like,
Continue the process.
That's how the next
But it's a
right
good
thing,
process.
It helped me manage.
Mm-hmm.
And then, have you seen Frozen 2?
Uh-huh. Girl.
Isn't there a song? The next right thing.
Yes.
Just do the next right
It
thing.
is. That is a new song. Oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about that.
I was sitting there and I'm like, oh my
Oh my
gosh,
gosh, I need to
Elsa
rewatch it.
and Anna,
Amazing.
they get me.
They get me.
And that's her thing, but I know that's my, and
Yeah.
life is hard. It might be addiction for you and it's something else for somebody else.
It
and
is.
it's something else for somebody else. So maybe your addiction, we were talking about this in Bible study. It's like, well, if I wore my red letter, like if, the A for adultery or
I'm an A girl, A for an addict.
well, there you go. But like, but I haven't committed adultery. I'm just saying that, like, if you wore your sin on your sleeve,
What would it look like?
what would it look like?
Mhm.
And other people's sins are easier to hide.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't make them not
No.
as terrible.
But we all have a cross that we're bearing. There's
100%.
something we're carrying, and I tried. This has really given me a perspective on people and their lives, and it's given me a lot of peace knowing that, number one, I am not perfect. That here I am. I mean, I'm an addict. I
Here
have
we
a
are.
journey. I'm walking the journey, but I'm also trying to make my life better now.
Yes, that's all you
And
can do.
That's all I can do.
You can't change the past. Oh, that's Lion King.
No.
You can't change the past.
This morning I was listening to a motivational tape, and I love Will Smith. Will Smith, I love you. Hashtag. But anyway, he says there's no reason. He says there's no. Oh gosh, I might butcher this. There's no reason to have a plan B because it takes away from your plan A.
Love that.
And this is my plan A. I'm just
That's
gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep doing my
Do the next
schedule.
right thing.
I'm just gonna keep doing the next right
That's
thing.
right.
Because that's all I really know how to do right now. I'm still a baby in recovery. This is not like a huge many years.
Yeah,
I still feel young.
I feel like if once you've learned it all, then you're dead.
Who learns it all?
I'm just saying, then you're dead. Like, there's constant learning. Like,
And I want to always be teachable. That's really important for me in my program. Like I go to these meetings and some of them suck. Like some of the meetings are like, oh my gosh, I totally wasted an hour. And others are like, this is everything. This
Yeah.
meeting is everything to me. And I just take what I can and I leave the rest there when I go. And I have a great day.
I am like so ridiculously excited for you because I believe like your energy, you have something very special about you.
Oh, thanks, girl.
I'm not even trying to like butter you up. Like I'm serious. I
That's really
think
nice of you.
that there's gonna be because you're beautiful and you're smart and you're funny and you're kind. Like those are all character traits that attract people and make them feel safe with you. And that's a really
I'm safe.
That's
If
a
anyone
really
needs
rad.
help, I'm safe.
Yeah, okay. I actually, so not only should, I mean, I hope that gave a lot of, and maybe you aren't the addict, but maybe you have a friend who is. Hopefully this could add some perspective or,
Yeah.
I don't know. So if anybody wanted to connect with you, how do they do that?
Well,
They call you 555-5555.
Call me, text
Text
me,
you? No.
grab me at school, say, let's go for coffee, or do you just have a sec to chat?
No, like what if they live in Wisconsin?
Oh,
Do you have social media
I have
or
social media.
an email address or something?
yeah.
Are you sure you want to say this? Maybe we'll add it in the
I don't know,
notes.
Yeah.
She
maybe
needs to
we'll-
think about this.
I'm gonna think about it. But
Well, you can always email me and I can relay the
Yeah.
message. So jenblossom@gmail.com. And
actually, I could give my email. I'm okay doing an email.
all right, go ahead.
It's Emily Halliday, HALLADAY.
Halliday.
Halliday at me.com. So emilyhalliday@me.com. Send me an email if you're looking for help or you don't know what to do. You don't know what the next step is. Send me an email and I'd love to
Yeah,
chat.
she's a nice person. She'll probably answer.
Yeah.
If not,
And I'm telling you, recovery is like the best thing that's ever happened. It is a second chance. It is this amazing life I never thought I would ever have. And my relationship with my husband is on top of this world.
oh
my girls
gosh.
see their mommy for who I really am, and I get to help people.
It's lovely.
That's the best part. I get
Lovely.
to help people.
Well, I love you. You're my favorite.
So grateful.
I love this. I just could sit here all day. I mean, and the fact that I get to talk to a mic, I legit feel like Mariah Carey every single time. So I love it. I'm in. All right.
This is
So, but if
great.
you have a story that you want to share, and it doesn't have to be something crazy, but if you think that your story could add value to somebody, also email me because the whole purpose of this is to be vulnerable enough to create a community of people who all can
Yeah.
love on each other.
And they're so easy to talk to. This is like the best hour
Isn't it
ever. I get to
fun?
sit and have a girlfriend talk.
This is what I say. I go, I could do. You're just. I mean, listen. If you're an a-hole, like I'm not in. Remember, I can smell bullshit a mile away.
Bullshit
So
smeller.
if that's the case, no, thank you. But if
Don't.
you're ready to like be vulnerable and authentic and put yourself out
Yeah.
there, because that is so freaking brave.
Yeah.
I'm in. I got you.
And we need to hear them. We need to hear more
Yes.
real stories. I want to hear what's really going on with the women out there.
Yeah, I don't need this.
Are you chit-chatting with guys too, or just women?
I'm kind of just doing
Your
women right
thoughts?
now.
You're just
my-
doing women right now?
Right now.
That's great.
That's great. Good for you. No, I think I feel more comfortable speaking to women because I can relate with them on a woman level.
Sure.
It feels a little inauthentic, I think, if I'm asking a man, because I don't know, I'm not a man.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So I'm
We'll
just
stick
trying
to the women over
to-
here.
Yeah, but I could swing. We'll see.
Ooh, we're swingers over here.
All right,
Thank
thanks
you,
again.
Jen. This
Love
is
you.
great.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.